Hello and welcome to Back to Basics with Sandra and Lyndall. Today we have a very special guest, Jimmy Guardia of Precision Boxing. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
So Jimmy, you are a fitness enthusiast, a boxing coach, and I know you've had a massive lifestyle overhaul most recently. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did you get started in the fitness industry?
Well, I've got a bit of a boxing background, and then for years my mates used to tell me, "Oh, you should get into the boxing training, boxing coaching, whatever." And I never done it. I never listened. I'm like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And then when COVID hit and all the gyms closed, a lot of the boys hit me up to hold the pads and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's how I found you. It came up around the COVID time.
So
Yeah.
they hit me up, and I was like, and they were still like, "Oh, you should stay your own brand." I was like, nah. And then eventually I just go, "Yeah, I'll just do it."
Yeah.
And that's how I started.
Yeah, awesome. So I mean, that must have been like a pretty massive step for you, like starting your own business. Like, how did that really come about? Because I think starting a business can be pretty scary.
Yeah, like it was scary. Like that's why, like I could have started years ago, but always because you have that fear of failing. So,
Yeah.
but like I always had the boys in the back of my ear, and like I knew I was good on the pads.
Yeah.
So then I was like, look, I've got nothing to lose. I'll give it a go, and I just ran with it.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess, how did the fitness lifestyle start for you? I mean, it started in COVID. You started on the pads, but you know, what was it, like 20 kilos you've lost?
Yeah, 20 kilos.
So how did that happen?
So because it all started. I put on all the weight when I was working at my old job. I was working at Woolies, and like obviously when you had a job you don't like, you're just bored and you just feel like, oh, no motivation.
Yeah.
So then after work, I'd go to training, and then I'd hate training because like I had no routine, no schedule. So then
what training were you
Yeah, I was
doing?
about to say.
I was just doing boxing,
Yeah, okay.
and like there's so much boxing you could just do by yourself. Like I wasn't doing classes, and then I was bored. So then I decided to start weight training.
Yeah.
So then I got myself a PT, and then because I was doing something different, I was out of my comfort zone. Like I was challenging myself again. So then I began to start liking training. So then when I got things rolling there, and I started feeling good, my boxing started. I started getting into that a bit more. So yeah, it just all.
Do you feel like that was like a real mindset shift for you as well?
Yeah, it was like because I was partying a lot. I had a lot of bad habits. I was drinking. I was partying. I was eating a lot of junk food, and then I was out one night and I just semi-made a fool out of myself. And then
we've all been there.
Yeah.
But your videos are hilarious. Yeah.
And then two of my mates go, "Look, bro, like enough's enough. You gotta pull your head into it."
That's so good that you've got friends like that.
And then because I semi had an argument with my mate, and then I felt bad when I was sober, and then I'm like, I really need to switch on.
Yeah.
And because they were always they were always telling me to train and put me in the right direction, and then it all happened.
So good that you've got friends like that.
Yeah, so good that they can see that in you and then pull it out of you. Starting a business during COVID, yeah, like you said, is super hard. Did you always know you were good on the pads? Like, how did you get that? Because it's quite a skill, right? But you see every second coach is trying to be a pad holder.
Like even now when people ask me, "Are you good?" I'm all right.
Yeah.
But I know
He's humble. He's a humble man.
But like I said, like when I wanted to start, I was always just fearful, like what people were gonna say or failing, whatever. But then again, just I had the boys in the back of my ear saying, "Nah, get into it," and because we've got a good team down at the gym.
Yeah.
And then I just watch them and then feed off them and learn off them and then.
Yeah, tell us about that community. It sounds like it's a super positive.
Look, it's a different sort of vibe. Like everyone's very close down there.
Yeah.
There's no
it's
ego.
Like a family.
Yeah, it's a family. There's no egos. You know, all the boys like when we're busy, like we feed off that.
Yeah.
Like if he's doing good, like I want to do better. Like it's not a competition.
Yeah.
And then so when like every Saturday, like that's when it's pumping and it's a good vibe and everyone's just buzzing and just good and it's mad.
So tell us how your like relationships, friendships have changed with your lifestyle change.
Look, I think as you grow older, like your childhood friends, like most of you will split because you all have different careers and all that. But like obviously your real friends like remain there. But I have good friends. I've had some friends that they've gone astray, and like, I use their experience and I look at them and I go, look, what can I do better?
Yeah.
To help me not to go down that way, and then I wanted to do better. So when they got out of whatever they were doing, like I wanted to help them. Like I wanted to be a mentor, whatever. Because boxing's helped a lot of people, whether they're in trouble mentally or health reasons. So
what is it about it? Do you think about that particular sport? Because you could do anything. You could go running, you could do weight training, but I love boxing. I encourage all women to do boxing, and you've got a massive female clientele as well. Like, what do you think it is about it? Is it that you get in the zone or you're smashing something? Like,
Yeah, I think you get in the zone. Like I read somewhere, like you walk out of the gym a lot less angry than you walk in there.
yeah,
Because you're punching stuff.
letting stuff
you're
out.
getting it out.
Yeah,
And I always say it was always a form of therapy for me.
yeah,
So like growing up, like I was never angry because I think I used to go to boxing and just smash out whatever.
Yeah.
I'd walk out. I'd never really have arguments with people or nothing.
Mm.
But yeah, like again, I think that's what it does to people. It takes you to a place, and it's just you and whatever you got to encounter or you're facing, and you just let it out there.
Yeah, I guess you must feel really strong and powerful, like doing those. Like, what's your experience working with women, Sandra?
oh, they just feel like it's like they transform in like 10 minutes of like smashing something or hitting something. And it's a sport where like it's you versus you. It's not you versus the person next to you. So I think that as well, like you can go at your own pace and it just builds their confidence really, really well. And mine's all women's, obviously, our all women's boxing class, but yours isn't. So how do women feel coming to your gym? And I guess I want to bring this up because a lot of women, if I'm not available, they're scared as shit to go anywhere else. And I don't want them to feel like that. So what I try and do is build them up to a point where they're like, I can go anywhere in the world, in Australia, and I feel confident to hit a bag if my coach isn't there. But how do you do that in your space?
Like I've got some confident girls that they just come and they smash it out. And the ones who are less confident, like a boxing gym, you walk in there, it's overwhelming.
It is.
So I ask them, I go, are you comfortable to come to the gym? If not, we'll go to a park where you're comfortable.
So good.
And that's what we do. We build them up to get to the point, and then I'll be like, look, come try the gym, see how you feel. If you don't feel right, we'll come back to the gym. We'll go back to the park.
What I love about boxing gyms is that like what I experience is that they're not looking at you in a way that they would look at you in a normal gym. They're looking at you because you got skill, and they're like impressed. Actually, like you at a commercial gym, you kind of feel like stop looking at me. But over there, you're like, yeah, all right, look at me because I'm good at what I'm doing.
Like even when people like myself, if I see people looking, like I try to go a bit harder. So I'm sure other people feel the same.
Yeah.
So
Good.
And you were an amateur boxer for a
Yeah,
period, was that right?
I think it was 3 or 4 fights. I think my first fight I was 20 years old. And then I had about, I think it was 4 fights and then 3 exhibitions. Exhibitions is no winner. It's just purely just experience.
Yeah. So tell us about like that kind of that journey for you, that experience.
So I started off doing boxercise, and then I saw one of my mates. We were out one night and he had a boxing trophy. And I said, "Oh, you're doing boxing now?" And he was always good with his hands. So I'm like, "Oh, fuck, wherever he wants to train, I want to train."
Yeah.
So then I went down to the gym in Redfern, PCYC, and then I asked the coach, "Can I train whatever?" Blah blah blah. Back then I thought it was just go smash out the pads, and I learned very quickly it wasn't. Like we spent the whole week just learning the jab, and my shoulder was burning, and I go, "Fuck, can I do something different?" He goes, "Oh, is your arm burning?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Go home if you want." And then that's like set me off. I'm like, "Oh, this guy thinks I'm weak."
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm like, "No, I gotta stay here," and I kept improving. Because boxing is a sport where you got to respect it. You got to put in the hours and you got to do it properly. Otherwise, it'll be brutal to you. So, anyways, when I started, I was 100 kilos, and I wanted to fight. So my first fight, I got down to 69 kilos.
What?
Yeah, it took about a year.
How did you even? Oh, I was gonna say that's a big drop, and you would be depleted when you went out.
It took about a year and a half. So then I fought, I won, and then just after that win, you just feel I want to go again.
Yeah.
So then I had that energy, and it drove me. And then my last fight was a tournament called Golden Gloves in Queensland. And prior to that, I was training 3 times a day, 6 days a week. I was just going hard. Anyways, well, I did the tournament, and after I lost, and then I wanted a break because I was just burnt out.
Yeah.
And then, so 2 months after that, there was meant to be a New South Wales tournament. And then I asked my trainer, can I have a week off, 2 weeks off? And then, like that 2 weeks turned into 10 years.
So you never went back. Do you think that a lot of people that's how it happens, that they go into a gym and they're like, oh yeah, I want to be a fighter,
100%.
and then they're just not actually cut out for it?
Like you gotta have gotta have patience.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I go, it's gonna be boring. Like if you really want to learn, like there's people who just want to hit the pads, and there's other people who want to be boxers, and I separate them because I know. But the ones who want to be boxers, like I said, you got to be patient with your coach, yourself, and the process,
Yeah.
because it's going to be boring. And if you got to do it right, then you got to put in the hours.
I feel
Yeah.
like there's like this massive rise of like boxers like coming out of
There's,
everywhere. Yeah.
coming out of everywhere.
Yeah. Like, how do you feel about all that?
That's good. Like it's the boxing in Australia, it's grown a lot,
Yeah.
which is good. Like a lot of women are getting involved too.
Yeah, so good.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
that's why I like to train women, because I tell all the boys ask me, they go like, "What do you like training more?" And I said, "Look, if you train a guy, it's an ego for him.
I was about to say
So
that.
if he looks half good, he doesn't
Yeah.
want to put it up on Insta or whatever. But if you train a girl, it's more appealing to the people, to everyone.
Yeah.
And if she looks half good, she'll want to post it and show her friends, and
Yeah.
like everyone will be like, "Oh look, if she can do that, I want to do that."
Yeah.
So
I think for women, like, I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, it would be more about feeling strong, like how I feel, like I feel good doing this, I feel powerful. But for a man, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's about how I look when I'm doing this.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Like, do I look good? Do I look
100%,
strong? Do I
100%.
have that sort of
100%.
ego sort of vibe? So
Yeah, exactly right.
yeah, absolutely.
That's why I liked your profile, like when I came across it how many years ago. But it's because you weren't like the looking good guy. Like, I'm not saying that you didn't look good, but you were skilled. So you moved away from having to look cut up, ripped, have like, you know, the best surroundings or whatever. But what you were doing was showing that you can be sick on the pads and not have to be looking like a certain way,
exactly right,
which I love, which is what I say to everyone
It's
as
about
well.
the performance, I think, as well. And this is something that me and my business partner have done most recently as well. Like we owned a gym for 7 years, and now we've shifted our business to online as well. And I think initially when you start a business, you kind of launch the net, right? You just kind of go out wide and see what you get back. So we were doing kind of like fat loss challenges. We were doing all this sort of stuff. And we had a meeting at the start of the year, and we're like, this is not us. Like, we train women to get strong, to be powerful, to be confident in the gym, just be pain-free, to move well. That's what we do really well.
Yeah.
These fat loss challenges and all of this stuff, like anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not, you know, like for us, it's about being true to ourselves and our values and things like that. And I think it makes people feel good as well. Like for me, if I see a woman confident in the gym and moving well and they're strong and they're getting stronger, like that makes me so happy.
Yeah, you've done your job. Yeah, you've done what you set out to do.
Yeah. So would you go back to doing like an amateur fight again, or is that chapter closed?
Like I love to. Like every year I try to come back.
Yeah.
But when I was fighting, like I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, because you have to dedicate so much time.
I didn't have a girlfriend, and then so it was just purely boxing.
Yeah.
I'd wake up boxing, sleep, whatever, boxing. But now as you get older, you got more responsibilities.
Yeah.
You need to make money, and like because I'm in the gym all the time, so like I'm always working. So like if I got a full day and then I got to train, like I'm already working my shoulders.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but like I'm trying to balance it out, and if it works out, then you have.
I think sometimes it's like, what's the return on this? I see it a lot with like bodybuilders and stuff like that. Like they dedicate their entire lives to it, and you know they get nothing from it. You know, they get 5 seconds on stage, like there's no money to be made in
flowers and a trophy.
Yeah, flowers and a trophy. 5 seconds on stage, and you know what have you got to show for it at the end of it? Like it is a lot. Like I think as you get older, you're like, is it worth it?
Yeah, but like for me, like. I wanted. Even if I have one more fight, it's just to show myself. Like I put myself through it again, and I did it.
Yeah.
Like I know I probably won't win a world championship or go whatever, and I'm at peace with that. So I just want to know that I did it once.
Yeah.
I put on all the weight, whatever. I put all the hard work in again, and I had a goal again, and I went back.
So
in
2024, watch out.
It's coming back.
We'll see.
There's no DJ Khaled in 2024. So your gym, Precision is, Legends Gym, right? Yeah, where's that based?
Kensington.
So that area is quite like, I wouldn't say rough, but it is like you've got a different kind of demographic around there.
Oh yeah, like it's well, I wouldn't say rough at all.
No,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You got people that walk all parts of life. They come into the gym.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate.
That's
it's a good
good.
community. So yeah, everyone gets along. Like I said, there's no egos.
And I feel like for some people as well, like that's what they need. Like if they are going through a rough patch, they don't have, you know, a good family or, you know, whatever, you know, they're not having a great time at school. Like sometimes they just need a sport or a community where they can just really find themselves. And I think, you know, I'm sure you probably have come across several people in that sort of.
Yeah, like the gym, like it's got a bit of an old school vibe,
Yeah.
and but like I've said, like yeah, because me and the boys we always speak because there's another gym like close by and like they're a bit more upper class.
Yeah.
But like you get people who are from the upper class, they want to come and just be around that vibe, that old school vibe, just like that raw. So like it's good that we have our own like kind of identity. So. And people like it, so it's good.
It's good. Yes, that's similar to me. So I'm at Belmore PCYC, which is like one of the oldest ones that's ever existed. There's like it gets flooded. The boxing rings,
100%.
the boxing rings there from like 50 years ago. Like it's one of the oldest boxing mats or whatever. It's dodgy as, but they go to like Canterbury Leagues Club, which is like elite, pristine, clean. You've got showers in the toilets and stuff. But they want to come because it's like no judgment. There's no judgment. No one cares. Like it's just so like the vibe is there. So yeah.
But yeah, but that's I think like the old school boxing gyms are always just that raw look. And, and like it's good. Like the new gyms, it's posh, it's clean, and it just doesn't feel like a boxing.
It takes away from the core of the.
Exactly right.
But for me, it's about the coach that I'm seeing or the class that I'm going to. It's not about how the facility looks. For me, I go for the people.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like for gyms as well.
But you kind of have to conform, even if you are like, if I was to go work somewhere else, like there's some boxing, like the new ones that have come up, you know, they have all the bags and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd still have to change your way you speak and the way you dress and how you coach. To how they do it, because they'd have their ways of doing it. Like all those thump boxing, like the way they teach you is like very textbook like. But when you learn from like someone else that's a coach, it's very different.
Yeah, because like they got them gyms now where they just put the
mic on. Yeah.
But they're not really teaching you a skill, I don't think necessarily. Like, you know, you get a sweat on, you burn calories, all of that sort of stuff, but are you kind of actually really learning skill, like properly, you know, probably not what you would teach, you know what I mean? So talk to us a little bit more about like your mindset shift, because like this is obviously huge, like getting from 100 kilos down to 69 kilos, competing, you know, doing, you know, amateur fights and now being a coach, like that must have been a massive transition for you.
Like obviously it's got its challenges.
Yeah.
How did you get started?
So like because I was like, all 20, I think 2021 or 2022, I'd just be going out clubbing, drinking, whatever. And then, like, my mates would be like, bro, that's enough, you know, like, because I always
Did you go overboard?
Like, I always try to be the funny guy. And, like, obviously, the people around you, they get embarrassed.
Okay.
Some, like, the ones that are close to you, and other people laugh.
Yeah.
And then, my mate said, he goes, look, like, right now they're laughing with you, but they're going to laugh at you. And, like, that sat with me a little bit, and then I'm like, maybe I should, like, pull my head in a little bit, and then, I always used to say, like, a better me will help you, will help become a better you.
Yeah.
So then, like, so all COVID, I was overweight. I just saw photos. Like, I still could do my pads, but like, if I like, I'll just show like if I could be better, like you would want to train harder or whatever. So yeah. So then
was there like one moment where you're like, I've got to change?
Yeah. So it was after that night of it, I went on the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like when my mate told me like how I was behaving, and how I was towards him. I'm like, I've got to switch up. Like I felt bad. And then and then that's it. Like so, we got my PT that works at the gym. I sat down with him. We started I think it was a 12-week challenge. I trained with him 3 times a day and.
3 times a day.
Oh, sorry, 3 times a. 3 times
I was gonna say, who's this guy?
3 times a week.
We've got to step it up, eh?
3 times a week. And then just every week, my mentality just started to come back to what it used to be, and
you kind of get addicted to the good lifestyle.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And then like now I'm trying to run every day.
Yeah.
If I miss a day, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going back.
Yeah.
You feel a little bit guilty.
Yeah, you do.
You kind of get on a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And eating, like, did you switch up your eating as well?
Yeah, I did switch up my eating.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was hard. Like but I think if it's easy, it won't be rewarding. So
yeah,
this is true.
And how was it like to, essentially, give up going like hard on the clubbing, the drinking, all of that?
Because my mates they didn't want to go clubbing either. Like I've got mates who do and mates who don't.
Yes.
So who does that anymore? Yeah. Who goes clubbing?
So I've been out once with you. That's enough for me.
So you tend to just go with the people who want the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Like that saying, if you hang with 5 millionaires, you become 6.
Yeah.
So I was just with the boys at the gym. We'd push each other. We'd say, let's do this. We'll hold our pads for each other, and yeah. So it was at the start it was hard, but because when you got a good group of boys around you, a good team, then It gets easy.
What would be like one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that was in the same position that you were in that does want to make that lifestyle change?
Or just step back, like see who your friends really are. Like you can have your friends who go out and whatever, you can still communicate, but just see who really wants the best for you.
Yeah.
Who wants the same thing as you. Like, just, you're not alone. Like people, they're going through the same thing. And yeah, I mean, like, because the boys used to tell me, oh, let's train, and my mind wasn't there yet. So I'd go on the cross trainer and I'd be like, no.
I can't picture you on a cross trainer.
I'd be like, I'm over it. But they were training hard.
Yeah.
So
like doing weights and stuff?
No, they were still doing cardio.
Okay, yeah.
And then I said to one of my mates, I go like, bro, like,
You're that friend. You're that friend.
But and I said to him, I go, bro, like I gotta want it.
Yeah.
If I don't want it, I'm gonna hate being here.
Yeah. And resent them a little bit too, for forcing you.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, like I know it's easier said than done, but that's why you got to step back, see who's real, whatever, see who wants what you want, and then it just flick.
And as a coach, you must come across clients like that all the time that like think they want it but don't actually want it. You know, how do you deal with those sorts of people? Because I guess you've been in that situation.
Yeah, look, I tell them, I go, look, I try to push them as much as I can. Like with all my clients, like I know some people aren't going to be pro boxers or whatever, but whenever they're there, I make them feel. My job is to make them feel good as they leave.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, well done. Like when I'm trying to put a combo together, like they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I go, like, don't say sorry.
Yeah, you're learning.
You're learning. We're human. We make mistakes. It's fine.
Yeah.
I go like, we'll go for it slow, and then we'll get it done. And then after they get it done, they're like, oh, fuck, it wasn't that hard, was it?
And do you have a preference on like, do you prefer to train just like gen pops, or like you like kind of training people for like professional fights and things like that?
I like. Because I consider myself more of a pad man rather than a boxing trainer. But like if I was going to train people for like boxing, I'll just get them to a certain level.
Yeah.
And then I would like speak to one of the boys. But even then they're telling me, nah, bro, you've been around the scene for years. You've been around like good gyms. You know what you're doing. Like you can do it. But like still, I have that.
It's a different type of You need to,
and it's different. And you have to be dedicated to the person too. So like, but I don't know. Maybe one day.
You have to become like a mentor. They call you all the time. You got to keep them on track.
Yeah.
That's a big responsibility to take on.
It does.
Just for guys out there, like, what would you say? It's so funny because everything's like, what would you say? But for people that, you know, because you speak a lot about the boys, right? And I think a lot of guys have the boys, but they might not necessarily be the right boys around them. Like, how do you make sure that you've got the right people? I know you said, like, take a step back, see what you really want, see who's really there for you. But, like how do you do that? Because you have some shit people around you. And I honestly, like, when I got rid of the shit people, that's when I literally leveled up my life. Because I wasn't thinking about what they're thinking. They weren't bringing me down, throwing comments here and there. Like, you know, when you post things on Instagram and you think, oh, who's watching? Are they going to say something? I literally have none of those people anymore, which has allowed me to just do this sort of stuff and do everything I've wanted. So how do you do that? Like, what would you say to the guys that think they have the boys, but they really don't?
I don't know, like, I think you got to go through it first. Like, you got to, you just got to go through whatever you're going to go through with certain people, and then through life you'll learn.
Yeah.
And then I think that's what happened to me. And then,
did you have anyone that wasn't there for you or that didn't have your best interests?
I think everyone did, but like they just got used to me being like the party clown, and they're like, oh, look, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like you got to a point where I felt like I had no identity. I was at that job working at Woolies, and I was just like, And then so when COVID hit, that's when I took my chance with the boys, because we're training down at the park.
Yeah.
And again, like, you just see everyone training everyone, and then you just feed off them, like, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And then you just tend to just go to where you're destined to go.
I think you have to be okay with potentially losing some people.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, like
100%.
When you change your lifestyle, I think it's about sitting there and going, okay, well, what do I want, and what's going to make me happy? Do these people make me happy, and you know, do they support me 100%? And if not, well, you have to be
you gotta look at your circle, and if your circle doesn't motivate you, then you need a different group of friends.
It's not a bad thing, I don't think.
Nah.
Like, I think people sometimes are so concerned about, oh, okay, well, I don't want to hurt this person, or what are they going to think of me, and it's all about what they think, and it's like,
But I would rather have a friend tell me like, look, bro, you're not doing this right. Like you stepped out of line. Like
Yeah.
while you're falling off.
Yeah.
Like step back in. Like as to look, bro, you don't want to do it today. Who cares? Let's go.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
You,
So what's next for precision boxing?
Like I've always wanted to get involved with kids.
Yeah.
I want to help the youth.
Yeah.
The ones who go astray or they are down a bad path. And I want to maybe get involved with pro fighters.
Yeah,
Just be their pad man.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, because you've got some skill, man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So yeah, I'd like to maybe if I could break into that scene, hold pads for a few of the boys, a few fighters, and then but.
Would you train others? Like, would you ever consider coaching other people to hold the pads?
Yeah, like one of my good mate,
Yeah.
like he's like sort of started his thing now
Yeah.
on the pads, but yeah, like even if I got a group of boys or girls,
Mm-hmm.
like I'd hold them through the pads and then I'd teach them. I hold this, hold that. So like one day if it's a hot day and they want to go to the beach, they know what to do for each other. So
Yeah.
so yeah, like I'd like to teach people how to hold pads and yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what would you say to guys out there that are struggling with like self-esteem and are wanting to change their life?
Well, one like there's people going through it. Like just try to seek for the right advice. Like you're not going to not know the answer if you don't ask people.
Yeah.
Like if you ask someone, they might have the right answer, they might not. So it's good to just talk to all sorts of people and like just like I had a fear of starting.
Yeah.
Just because like I doubted myself, but like if you fail, like you just go back to your normal life. It's fine.
Yeah.
But if it kicks off, then
And imagine if you didn't start, you wouldn't have this business, you wouldn't have this
Yeah.
lifestyle, you wouldn't have done the fights,
exactly. Like I said, because I felt like I had no identity, like, and the fear of starting just kept me back. And I think like that's what the fear of starting keeps people where they are, stuck in the mud.
So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
29.
Yeah. Wow, that's so good. Yeah.
Amazing. I feel so old now. Amazing. So thank you guys for our chat with Jimmy today. We're going to pop all of his links down below. So please comment, please tag us if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.